Who should WWE push in 2025? I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling now.
Yeah, we talked a lot about year-end stuff with 2024. Let's look ahead. We had some hits and some misses for 2024. Mm-hmm. Who do we think should kind of get that next step and get that push in 2025 here?
We talk about how the mid-card of WWE is a phenomenal. Raw specifically has just taken over, in my opinion. I think that their overall just wrestling talents are just crazy. Their in-ring is incredible. And I think that we are on the verge of a kind of mid-card renaissance in terms of a lot of people being able to take over the star talent role within the WWE. So let's list a bunch of people who we think should be pushed in 2025. Would you like to go first or me?
Oh, I'm going first. I'm going first. I'm taking the easy one. I'm taking it. Dom Mysterio.
Oh!
Now, we had it a little bit. You got to see some more of Dom in 2024 than you had in previous years. You really got to see that character. You're starting to see the crowd, the internet wrestling community, people that talk about this stuff, talk about how good Dom is. Everybody's starting to cheer for Dom now at the time that we're recording this. I think it's time to push Dom to that next level. I'm not saying he needs to go out and win a world title, even though he probably should, but give him a mid-card title. Give him a singles title of some sort on the main roster. I understand he had the North American and NXT. It's a little bit different. There's different levels to it. This guy was a star in 2024. He's going to continue to be a star. Pencil him in there and just have him go to work in terms of an actual single in-ring wrestling. I think that's really what I want to see from Dom in 2025.
2025 should be the year of Dom Mysterio. Push that man to the moon. I want to see an Intercontinental title run with Liv by his side. I want to see a Money in the Bank briefcase win, and when he opens it, it's full of chicken tendies and nuggies. Oh. I want to see Dom be pushed as far as possible. Keep him in this Eddie Guerrero-ish role that he kind of does. You can make him a face, but have him keep this side of him where he's just like, he wins by the skin of his teeth and he cheats and stuff like that. Let him be the second coming of Eddie. Let him mix in some Rey Mysterio, get the best of both worlds there. I think Dom Mysterio should be the absolute favorite to be like superstar, most improved of the year in 2025 at the least, and maybe even the MVP at the end of it.
Yeah, that's why I took him with like the first pick, I guess, if you will, of this. I mean, it seems to be just a no-brainer.
I'm going to get one off the top that we can just get past. Braun Breaker. They already pushed the hell out of him a lot in 2024, but I do think Braun Breaker is a generational talent that not only deserves this push that he's currently getting, I think you should throw him into the main title scene kind of ASAP. He should almost get that Brock Lesnar treatment of like next big thing. I would love for them to push him with Paul Heyman. I think that has always been a rumored thing around the IWC that people would love to see. I think Paul Heyman and Bron Breakker could be Paul Heyman, everything he touches is gold. And right now, everything Bron Breakker touches is gold. I just think that combination of people would be phenomenal. He's already getting a push, so I don't want to talk too much about him because I do think he's already gotten love. But I think 2025 needs to be a further push and even higher if they can. Yeah,
I had him down on my list, and I specifically wrote main event scene. I'm going to go out on a limb as well with that, and I'm going to say, I mean, this is a lot ifs, I guess, if it happens. I'm thinking him versus Sheamus at WrestleMania is probably going to be match of the year. That's just, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it right now.
And then we're never going to see either of them again because they're going to kill each other.
Yeah, they're going to need to recover for a little bit.
Sheamus will be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You could have him go off for a little bit, come back, give him some new gear, give him like a new little entrance theme, give him some damn pyro. He needs something. Jesus, man. God, we need to return a
new
pyro.
Music too, honestly.
Like, golly. I'm going to talk about somebody who is in NXT right now as we're recording this, so it's going to need to be a transfer portal / push at this point. I'm going with Ethan Page.
Yeah, 100%.
Ethan Page had a very interesting 2024 when you look at it, considering he wasn't in WWE the whole time.
Yeah.
He was in AEW at one point, obviously had to sit out, got introduced to everybody in the NXT to kind of familiarize, okay, who is this Ethan Page guy? And he's just proven that he's so damn good. We talk about maybe Raw and Netflix being kind of how did you word that? Raw and Netflix being oversaturated or overbooked or some of the stars, roster being too stacked on Raw. I think he would be perfect for SmackDown. Have that mid card title scene, even maybe upper mid card. He's just that good. And people love to hate him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Ethan Page should 100% be moved to at least SmackDown if they do lean a little bit too heavy into Raw, which I think that they're going to do. If you want to stick to NXT people, period, just for a minute, in terms of they aren't going to get big time pushes. I don't think we're going to see an NXT talent just come to the main roster, kind of like how Page did and like immediately win a title or anything like that. But in terms of just getting the push to the main roster, I had 4 that I definitely want to see. I want to see Trick as well. That's probably my most anticipated feud of the year. I really want Carmelo Hayes and Trick on the main roster to have a main card feud. I just think that'd be phenomenal. Roxanne Perez, she's done everything that she absolutely can. And then this is going to be the least people don't like it the most out of what I say, but I've always been a big fan of Lola. I love her. I want her to the main roster. I followed her when she was doing her MMA career, so I've kind of just watched everything that she's done. And I think that she's ready for it, and I would love to insert her into the women's division as well. So in terms of just NXT talent, I'm sure you might have some more, but a lot of these people should be pushed to the main card in 2025.
Yeah, you could name pretty much half the roster.
You can name half the roster. Yeah, they could do it.
I mean, everybody's going to be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I mean, you might not like some of these people, but the talent's there. So I'm going to talk about a faction on this one. I don't know if you have any factions on your list.
Hear me out. PFC.
I think they might be gone by the time this video comes out.
They're going to be great in AEW.
They're going to be awful. I'm going with American Made. So we talked about Chad Gable in 2024, kind of having some hits in terms of a year for Chad Gable and people really getting to see how good he is, but also some misses in terms of, well, what the hell are we going to do? Why does he not get any wins? Why do they not have any gold? What the hell is going on? Why should I care about this guy? Again, Raw oversaturated. As soon as you mentioned going to SmackDown, that U.S. title, those tag titles, that women's U.S. title, Lady Liberty, it's American made, draped in red, white, and blue and the gold. Why not? It writes itself. You need the time. You need the people over there, and he's fantastic.
I can't argue that at all. Like it writes itself almost too well.
Which is why they won't do it.
Which is why they won't do it, yeah. I mean, get Ivy Nile with the Lady Liberty with the U.S. women's title. Get Chad Gable with the U.S. title. It absolutely writes itself. You can even, if you wanted to, you could definitely throw the Creeds at the tag team titles. They could be one of the most dominant factions on SmackDown.
They could literally be a Team Angle 2.0 plus Ivy Nile.
Yeah, literally.
And it would be fantastic.
The Creeds are incredible in tag team matches. I mean, they should, if you're going to talk about a push, period, the Creed brothers in the tag team division should 100% get a push because both tag team divisions, I feel like, have gotten pretty repetitive and stale, and the Creed brothers would absolutely light a fire to those divisions. So I agree with you. One that I want to see, we'll stick on that a little bit. Street Profits, Montez Ford specifically. People have been begging for this forever. People have been begging for a proper Street Profits push forever. I don't care how you do it. In my opinion, you should send them to Raw and have them just absolutely eat, especially with the heel Judgment Day. If you want to split them up, they're both probably going to be more than capable on their own. I would love to see a Montez Ford standalone heel run. I think that would be absolutely insane. But 2025 should be the year of the Street Profits finally getting the respect that they have earned.
Yeah, I feel like this list so far, you can kind of look at it and be like, yeah, you know what? I have no gripes. I have no complaints. I'm not going to argue on that one. So I'm going to pivot it. I'm going to do maybe a controversial one here. When I say this, you're probably going to disagree, so you got to stick with me on this one. I think a push here needs to be for the 3 horsewomen that are left in WWE. Now, when you say that, you make that face, correct?
Sticky!
You make that face, correct?
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit watching one of the SmackDowns in our live stream. They've kind of gotten overshadowed. Like, everybody in the ring is so good. Better probably than Bayley or Becky, to me at least. Character-wise, the characters aren't really the best. Charlotte, I think, is still Charlotte. I think Charlotte's going to be in a potential feud of the year with Tiffy, so that's fine. That can count as her push there. I think maybe you team Becky and Bayley up for the tag titles, maybe. You kind of give them a push. Why not? I thought about this in terms of 2025, who needs a push. None of those 3 need a push, but I guess I don't want them to be overshadowed by how great that women's roster is. So give them one more like, hey, we're important, still remember us.
So
before it gets to be like,
you want a last hurrah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay.
I'll word it as like a push, but like I think Bayley and Becky could be decent tag champs.
Yeah, we talk about this on stream. It's the era, the talent, the average talent within each woman within WWE from NXT to the main roster it's just rising exponentially fast. Like we had the women's revolution happen where like Paige and the four horsewomen showed up, and like Nikki Bella and them and Trish obviously beforehand, and Natalya, and I'm gonna miss a bunch of people, but like they established the women as being like real wrestlers at that point. They were no longer the divas and everything. But then the four horsewomen came around, and it went from okay, they're established wrestlers to like, okay, they're now main event players on any given night. And I know Trish and Lita main evented, I get it, but like
it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. Now it's like they're legit main eventers. It feels like, okay, yeah, I want to see that match main event, and the match quality is going to be better than most of the men. But then after the four horsewomen, when NXT started to get good, with especially right now with all this talent, holy shit, the average woman is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're all ridiculous. And like you said, I think they've caught up to the four horsewomen.
Yeah.
Maybe not Charlotte, because Charlotte's Charlotte. I think she's one of one in my eyes. I think she's the GOAT in terms of just her overall picture and everything. That's a different discussion. But yeah. So when they rise that quickly, it's easy to forget. It's kind of like what Drew McIntyre was saying. What have you done for me lately? I'm not good with them being pushed into the title scene. Like I don't really want any of them to have.
Which one?
I don't.
Charlotte doesn't fight unless it's for a title. So that is what it is.
I'm okay with her getting one last like women's championship, but I think I don't want Becky or Bayley to be pushed to a women's championship. If you want to fight for the tag titles,
the tag titles is
fine.
That's like I don't want to see singles titles, but tag titles is fine.
I don't want to see them around the US and IC titles though. I really don't. The tag titles, sure, you can push them there, but the mid card, no. Mid card should 100% be.
You could say that, but I bet you if we look at the end of the year review 2025, either Becky or Bayley, one of them's going to have one of the mid cards.
Yeah, I mean you're probably right.
There's too much prestige in terms of career accolades that it just happens.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about some women that actually deserve a push in my mind in terms of like big time, I think Lyra Valkyria midway through this year, come SummerSlam time, should 100% be in the main title card, in the main title scene. I don't care. I don't know who's gonna be the champion around there, but like Lyra has it in the ring. She is spectacular in the ring. Mm-hmm. She needs stories based around her character, and give her a chance on a mic. That's the thing. They haven't even given her a chance. But like her Queen of the Ring run this year by itself was literally just banger match after banger match. She's proven that she is A+ tier in the ring. Let her bring her character out, push her in storylines, and see if she can be a main eventer in the women's division.
Yeah, the only thing I'll push back on with that is by SummerSlam time, I think she, to the time we're recording this, we don't have the winner of what, the US, or is she on the IC? She's on the IC.
Yeah.
She's on the IC route. So I picked her to win the IC, so she probably still has that title because they have those titles for 12 years at this point.
That's true. She could have the title and I could look like a jackass.
A few more here. I feel like ours probably align at least a little bit. I want to see Ludwig finally make a name for himself, step out of that shadow of Gunther. He really started to do that pre-injury. He got hurt. He came back. He once again showed how good he is. Eventually, we're going to get that feud between the two of them. So kind of make this a year to really kind of solidify him and show how great he is before he kind of steps to Gunther.
Yeah, I had Ludwig Kaiser, but I had right next to it Gunther feud. That's what I mean by a push. I feel like Ludwig is like right underneath Braun, and like they have done a great job pushing him this year. Like he's kind of everywhere. He's been in some great matches, and I feel like he's officially an established guy on the roster. So he has gotten a push already. But like he's a guy who can take the next step. And you can keep the belt on Gunther, and you can have a legit title rivalry with Ludwig and him. That's a legit thing that people would be invested in, and that would push him into a different stratosphere of guy. I mean, after that, you're now this guy on the roster, right? Yeah, people trust you to do these kind of things, so he deserves that kind of push. I'm gonna go with this woman, Tiffy, and you're like, well, that's the same situation here. She's had a really good year. I say Tiffy to the stars. Tiffy to the stars. That woman should be your champion for most of the year. Should be your champion for most of the year. She should have feuds with Charlotte Flair. She should lead the women's division and have a bunch of great feuds with a lot of great women. She should be there She should be their catapult in terms of throw a bunch of feuds at her and have her try to lift everybody up with her. I mean, she can just be that sort of talent for WWE. We're this close, I think. They did. I mean, she obviously got pushed this year. She has a money bank briefcase, but like it feels like they're this close to pulling the full trigger with her. And 2025 needs to be the year where they fully push it and let Tiffy fly, bro.
Yeah. It's. I mean, some people would say she was an MVP of 2024.
Yeah, that's freaking ridiculous. I should have brought tomatoes.
How many?
Whack.
How many more you got on your list here?
Got a few.
Okay, so I got 3 more on my list.
Go for it. I got 4.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to take one that's on both of our lists. I'm going Carmelo Hayes. You talk about that feud with Trick, writes itself. Carmelo Hayes, at least for me, was somebody they really missed on 2024. He got called up to SmackDown. I really thought, okay, here's Carmelo. He can do it on the mic. I understand he flubbed a little bit here and there early on. He was a little uncomfortable. He's fantastic in the ring. He's kind of like, he's not to me that Braun Breaker level in terms of the future, but he's like right below that. He's right there. He's so good. And I feel like they missed an opportunity on SmackDown. You got to at least solidify him some way, somehow, give him something going forward into 2025.
Yeah, it feels like they just keep backing away with him. It feels like they just keep teasing us and teasing us and teasing us. And it really felt like he was going to be a guy that was maybe take the U.S. title off of LA Knight there for a bit. And I was looking forward to it because he said the first thing he'd do is bring back the spinner belt. And I wanted to see it. But now, as we're recording this, like you said, he just got squashed by Braun. It feels like, that don't feel good. And then Braun Strowman, not Breaker. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that he definitely needs to transfer over to Raw, and they really need to get him involved in that, like Sheamus, because Sheamus has proven that, man, can he make a guy look good and make you feel something? So throw Carmelo at Sheamus, see if he can go through that test of strength, which is basically what it feels like Sheamus is. He's kind of the measuring stick where, like, if you can put on a show with Sheamus, then you're going to make it here. Let him do that because he will put on a show with Sheamus. Mm-hmm. And then let's get him into the IC scene. Let's get him some titles this year. I completely agree with you. One here that I have, I'm going to get it out of the way. Dragon Lee.
He's on my list as well.
He's on your list?
He's on my list.
Dragon Lee. Man, oh man, is that dude phenomenal in the ring.
Yeah.
And we are at the point where, in terms of luchadors in the WWE, we don't got none of them, really. Mm-hmm. We have Rey Mysterio, who just had his 50-year birthday. So happy birthday to Rey Mysterio. But that also means that Rey Mysterio ain't going to be around much longer. Nope. And I would really like a luchador to replace him eventually. And Dragon Lee has it. He's got everything. Now, I don't know what he sounds like on a mic, really. He's got a couple promo videos, I guess, but he hasn't really been like in the ring cutting promos. So we need a lot more character work there. But in order to get character work in the ring, dude needs a push. So let's push this man in 2025 and let's have some fun with him.
Yeah, he had that one random promo where he like transformed into a dragon.
Yeah.
And nothing came of that. It would have been cool if they like did something with that. They didn't do anything with that. I've got 2 more. One I wrote down, one off the top of my head here. They're older guys, but kind of like a last hurrah sort of thing, like I mentioned with the 3 horsewomen.
John Cena.
Well, if they don't push him in 2025, that's a problem. He just jobs out to everybody.
John Cena's now lost 31 straight matches.
He's the new Kurt Hawkins. He just doesn't win. I'm going with Finn Balor for this one. It was such a weird 2024 for him. Like,
yeah, they're missing it.
He had the tag titles, and then I thought they were on the cusp of like some really good Finn stuff. And the Finn, Damian, Liv, Finn, Judgment Day, it all got weird and murky and just, it's like, okay, well, let's bring back Finn Balor to that singles glory. Hopefully it is with like Dom. Like a Dom feud would be fantastic. That would be great. Just have him on screen more, have him more in singles matches because the guy can go. Have him in that upper mid-card main event title scene-ish. You can pencil him in with anybody in the ring. It's going to be fantastic. I just want to see more from Finn Balor in 2025.
You're missing your window. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll say to WWE. You're missing your window. Eventually, we're only going to take your swerving of them pushing him to us. We're only going to take that a couple more times.
It happens all the time.
It does. It happens all the time where it seems like, oh, is Finn going to be back in the main title scene here for a minute? And then it doesn't happen. And he could win tonight and we could look like big jackasses right now. But like,
you're going to miss this putt.
I think they really only have one more big push opportunity with him. And if I were them, I would throw him over to SmackDown have him change his character a little bit and have him go against Shinsuke Nakamura and just have both those guys elevate each other like they always can. So that's what I would do. I'm going to combine two people in one because they're kind of on the same level in terms of they're already veterans in this business. LA Knight, I think he obviously got a great year, but I think it's time to finally see if he can make it in the main title scene and even give him the belt, even if it's just for a little while. I think that he did the job well with the U.S. title. Let him thrive in the main title scene and see what happens there. Not going to stress that enough, but this one's going to kind of sound like your 4 horsewoman take. Bianca Belair, push her. She just had a whole year of doing the job for the tag team division. She helped make those titles established again. They feel worthy, and I love that. That was necessary. Those belts literally got written off wrestling because at one point no one could carry them successfully. Bianca's done the job. She made Jade look great. It's time to get Bianca Belair back into the main title scene as a solo competitor, and I mean she is going to put on shows with all this new talent coming up. She is the best in-ring woman talent in all of wrestling, in my opinion. And 2025 should be the year where we see her back with the main card titles and get away from this tag team nonsense for her.
I got really nervous there for a second because you talked about veterans and when I talked about the horsewomen and all this stuff. We talk about like last hurrahs, and I'm not saying this is this person's last hurrah, but a little backstory. I was a big Dolph Ziggler fan. I thought Dolph Ziggler should have gotten the world. It wasn't until he was released that everybody's like, oh my God, I love Dolph Ziggler. Da, 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 da. Very underrated, right? This person, in our eyes, we love this guy. I feel like he still is underrated. I'm going with The Miz in 2025. I don't know how much more time The Miz has in terms of wrestling. I don't know what his contract is like, but I think The Miz is still criminally underrated. I think The Miz is still fantastic. He has great character work. He's a great heel. You just want to punch him. He's so good. He gets other people over, no matter who it is. At the time we're recording this, he's helping get Karrion Kross and Final Testament over. He just is fantastic. Everything he touches turns into gold. He doesn't really get the credit he deserves. So for me, my last one for 2025 is just give Miz kind of like the deserved push that he rightfully deserves. I mean, maybe one more IC title.
You know what a Miz push in 2025 would be? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be awesome. I love the Miz. I have nothing against him.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he needs a push? No, but would I like to see a little bit of a Miz push? You know,
the John Cena Miz has to happen one more time.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite moments from the COVID era was when they randomly gave the Miz back the belt for like literally a month, or it was like 3 weeks, but like he won it. And I was like, I was watching at my house, like hell yeah, the Miz won a championship again. So I'm always behind the Miz. He's awesome. Yeah. So. Those are our 2025, or who should WWE push in 2025. Those are our picks. Of course, there's a lot more. There's a lot of great talent in WWE. We could go on. We can make a whole nother video on just NXT call ups and that needs to happen.
Yeah,
NXT is next up as well. So it should be a phenomenal year for young talent within the WWE. But let's make sure we get them pushed and have some fun with them,
and some old talent.
John Cena.
Just don't miss the window on some of these
John
people.
Cena should bury everybody on this list that I just said.
Yeah, we talk about that and talk about who deserves pushes. Rightfully, though, at the end of the day, we all know at the end of the day, riptides to everybody, stacks and pins, all 30 people we just mentioned. Rhea Ripley must
pose. You know how many dislikes you just got on the video for saying that?
That's okay. That's okay.
Rhea push Rhea Ripley. I agree. Push Rhea Ripley.
You know?
Rhea Ripley is the one to retire John Cena. Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm down. Anyway, let us know in the comments what you guys think, who you want to see get pushed. I want to see them. Let's follow us on all of our socials at codwrestlepod. Sorry, I forgot my line there for a minute. COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you get them at. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. Come watch our live streams, Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, twitch.com/codwrestlepod. We have a link tree with literally all this stuff I'm saying in it. Follow all of it. Comment on all of it. Come to our Discord. We love talking to you guys in all the chats. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.